It wasn't funny. It was just awkward and embarrassing. Most people think dementia begins with forgetting things. But for many seniors, the first real sign is something far more uncomfortable. They start saying things they never would have said before. Embarrassing things. Blunt, strange, or wildly inappropriate. And always at the worst possible moment. In this video, you'll hear 7 awkward phrases seniors said before they were diagnosed, based on real stories shared by their families. If someone you love has started talking like this, don't brush it off. Let's get started. Number 1. Make inappropriate flirtatious comments. Emily, 76, had always been gracious, the kind of grandmother who wore pearls to brunch and wrote thank you notes by hand. So when she called a young waiter easy on the eyes and gave him a playful wink, her sister figured she was just being silly. But then, at the grocery store, she told a teenage cashier, "You've got the kind of arms a woman remembers." Over time, the comments became bolder, stranger, and more embarrassing. She once told a pharmacist he had bedroom eyes, then handed him her phone number. Eventually, her family started avoiding public outings with her, afraid of what she might say next. One afternoon, when her son-in-law gave her a hug, she called him a handsome devil and let her hands linger. That was the moment they stopped waiting and pushed for a cognitive evaluation. Emily was diagnosed with frontotemporal dementia shortly after her 77th birthday. Neurologists confirmed that one of the earliest signs of frontotemporal dementia is a sudden loss of social inhibition. As the frontal lobes start to deteriorate, the brain's ability to filter impulsive or inappropriate thoughts weakens. Seniors who were once reserved and polite may begin saying flirtatious, suggestive, or even vulgar things in public, without realizing how far they've strayed from their former self. New dementia videos daily. Feel free to subscribe. Number 2. Say body-shaming remarks. It started nearly 3 years before he was diagnosed with Alzheimer's disease. At a Sunday brunch, James, 80, turned to his daughter-in-law and said, "You've gotten thicker. Are you still doing yoga?" She laughed awkwardly, assuming he was joking, but something felt off. He wasn't smiling. A few weeks later, he called a neighbor's toddler a mini sumo wrestler. His son brushed it off as nothing, but the behavior kept escalating. He once asked a cashier if she planned to fix her teeth, told a nurse her perfume couldn't cover all that weight. It reached a tipping point when he interrupted a wedding toast to say the bride's arms looked strong enough to bench press a sofa. That was the last straw. The family called his doctor the next morning and got the result they already suspected. Clinical studies show that dementia often erodes the brain's ability to monitor speech, recognize social boundaries, and control behavior in real time. Seniors who were once polite and thoughtful may suddenly blurt out offensive or humiliating remarks, not out of malice, but because the brain no longer flags those thoughts as inappropriate. Even basic cues like facial reactions or awkward silences don't register the way they used to, which is why these moments keep happening without apology or self-correction. Number 3. Announce bathroom needs in public. The first time it happened was at the grocery store. Chelsea, 68, suddenly shouted, "I need to pee now," and marched straight toward the customer service counter. Her sister was startled but laughed it off, thinking maybe she just misjudged the urgency. But the behavior didn't stop there. She started asking strangers whether their toilets flushed fast. She told a teenager in a coffee shop she couldn't wear jeans anymore because they take too long to pull down. One day at the post office, she leaned in and asked the clerk, "Do you have a good stall for wiping?" That was the moment her daughter stopped making excuses and scheduled a neurological exam. Chelsea was later diagnosed with vascular dementia nearly 2 years after that first outburst in the store. A major research warns that dementia can disrupt not only memory, but also impulse control and spatial awareness. When damage occurs in the frontal regions of the brain, seniors may lose their understanding of social context, saying things that are overly personal, graphic, or inappropriate in public settings. What sounds like oversharing is often the brain's way of losing its internal boundaries. Most people wait for the big red flag, forgetting names, faces, or entire conversations. But by the time that happens, the brain has often been declining for years. Experts say that in 94% of cases, dementia actually starts with something else: mood swings, strange behavior, odd physical habits, things families often miss until it's too late. So if something feels off, even if their memory seems fine, don't ignore. Let's keep going. Number 4, criticize prices or spending at events. Nearly 4 years before he was diagnosed with Alzheimer's, during his granddaughter's birthday gift opening, 77-year-old Jeffrey whispered, "They spent too much on that piece of crap. Must be nice to burn money." His wife gave him a look but assumed he was just being his frugal self. 2 months later, at a restaurant, he refused to tip because he said the waitress didn't deserve more than minimum wage. His wife scolded him, but he just shrugged. Then things got stranger. He began asking guests at dinner parties how much they paid for their outfits, then laughed if he thought it was too much. The moment they stopped brushing it off came at the grocery store, when Jeffrey asked the cashier if he could haggle because the food didn't look real. That was the week his wife finally called the doctor for a cognitive screening. Brain health experts explain that in many dementia cases, the brain's earliest damage hits where we least expect it. The regions that control self-awareness, timing in conversation, and social judgment. That's why some seniors begin making rude or tactless comments, especially about money, appearances, or other people's choices long before they ever forget a name. Number 5, talk about private hygiene openly. It started at a family lunch when Miranda, 72, quietly mentioned that she hadn't showered in 3 days and didn't really see the point anymore. Her son chuckled awkwardly, but the comments kept coming. She told her grandson that bras were a scam and asked if he ever skipped underwear to save time. Then things got more uncomfortable. At a neighborhood barbecue, she told a teenage girl not to shave too much down there or it would grow back angry. The breaking point came during dinner at a friend's house when she loudly said, "I finally cleaned under my breasts. It smelled like soup." That's the moment her son decided he couldn't ignore it anymore and called her doctor the next morning. Miranda was diagnosed with mixed dementia nearly 18 months after that first comment at lunch. Cognitive studies show that when dementia affects both the frontal and temporal regions of the brain, patients often lose their awareness of what's socially acceptable. This is especially true around private topics. Talking openly about personal hygiene, grooming, or bodily functions can be one of the earliest signs of a failing brain. Number 6, say bizarre or supernatural beliefs. 2 years before his diagnosis of Lewy body dementia, Tim, 67, casually mentioned that his television sometimes knew what he was thinking. His girlfriend laughed it off, saying he was just being dramatic. Then he insisted the mailman had paused to listen at their front door. Over time, things got stranger. He accused his dog of reporting to someone hiding in the attic, and once covered all the mirrors because they were letting something watch him back. The breaking point came when he called his daughter in the middle of the night and whispered, "They put a tracking chip in my toothbrush. I know it's in there." The family took him in for a full evaluation that week and regretted not acting sooner. The delay cost them time. Neurological research has linked early dementia to visual misperceptions, paranoid thinking, and distorted beliefs about the environment. As these brain changes take hold, some patients begin expressing strange or supernatural ideas, often with full conviction. These delusions are rarely recognized as dementia at first, which delays getting help. Number 7. Deny family relationships out loud. It started when Carolyn, 81, looked at a childhood photo of her daughter and asked, "Who's that little girl?" Her son gently reminded her, but she shrugged it off and changed the subject. From there, things only got worse. A year before diagnosis, she began referring to her grandson as the neighbor's kid, even during family gatherings. Her children thought she was just getting overwhelmed by all the faces and noise, but then she told a delivery driver, "My daughter doesn't visit me anymore," even though her daughter had just been there that morning. The turning point came when she looked her son in the eye and asked, "Now remind me, who are you again?" That afternoon, the family finally sought professional help, and Carolyn was soon diagnosed with Alzheimer's disease. Dementia researchers explain that when dementia begins affecting facial recognition and memory integration, patients may start misidentifying or completely forgetting people closest to them. What seems like cold detachment is often a sign that the brain is losing its grip on identity, family roles, and emotional connection. These moments may seem small at first, but for many families, they're the earliest signs of something serious. If you've heard someone you love say things like this, don't ignore it. The earlier you act, the more time you have to plan, protect, and possibly slow the decline.
And there you have it. What are your thoughts? Next, dive into this video for more essential tips to transform your health and help you thrive. You're going to love it. Thanks for watching Healthy End, and we'll see you there.